Remaining cloudy on your Saturday with scattered rain showers. 70% chance of rain today, high near 71. With cloudy skies tonight, slight chance of a passing rain shower, low near 58 degrees. Sunshine on Sunday as you make your way to the Cumberland Airport for the Young Eagles breakfast. High's going to be around 85 degrees with a few afternoon clouds. Clear skies overnight, low near 58. Partly cloudy skies on Monday as you head back to work or school. Becoming overcast by the afternoon, high near 84 degrees with cloudy skies overnight and a low near 60.
Do you drive at a set speed in the passing lane? Outraged when the guy behind you blinks his lights and blows his horn and jerks to the right to pass you in an unsafe manner? You don't have the right to impede traffic. Yield right of way and let traffic adjust to conditions. We all must share the highway. A reminder from WCBC.
WCBC News.
One of America's great radio stations, proudly serving the community since 1976. 1270 AM. WCBC Cumberland.
Also at WCBCRadio.com. 9 a.m. Why does Tim Brook Kia have such a high retention rate with customers? Stop in and see for yourself. The following is a special presentation of WCBC Sports. Morning quarterback on WCBC and brought to you by the Kensington Assisted Living on Baltimore Street in Cumberland and the Country House, specializing in Alzheimer's care on Cumberland Street in downtown Cumberland. Saturday morning quarterback hosts are Rock Cioni and Dr. Jim Zamagias and the WCBC sports team with lots of information about the week in sports.
Good morning. It's Saturday morning quarterback on WCBC. Glad you could join us this morning. This is Jim Zamagias on with Rock Cioni, Adam Sterne, Brad Reed, Mike Connelley, and Tony Orndoff. What a night of high school football. Mike Connelley, fill us in. We're now going to do the scoreboard.
Thanks very much, Jim. Last night on WCBC, Albert Gallatin 63, Allegheny 56. Allegheny falls to 1-3. Albert Gallatin 6-0. On Classic Hits 107, Frankfort 28, Northern 7. The Falcons are 5-0. Hollidaysburg 35, Fort Hill 30. Fort Hill falls to 2-2. Kaiser 44, Hampshire 16. Mountain Ridge 42, Clear Spring nothing. Mountain Ridge is 2-2. East Hardy 46, Southern 19. Petersburg 28, Moorfield 6. Dunbar 50, Poly 6. Patuxent 34, Northern 31. Edgewood 19, Perryville 13. North Hagerstown 18, Central Woodstock 7. Episcopal 34, Murray 20. Murray is Allegheny's next opponent next Friday. Bridgeport 77, R.C. Bird 6, and Pendleton 59, Tigers Valley nothing. In Major League Baseball, Pittsburgh 9, Atlanta 3, the New York Yankees 8, Baltimore 4, and the Chicago White Sox 10, Washington 9. Today in college football at noon, Notre Dame is at Arkansas. Louisville is at Pitt at noon, and at 3:30 Utah takes on WVU, and tonight at 7:30 Oregon is at Penn State.
Heck of a scoreboard, Mike. Thank you very much. And in case you're wondering why we're doing Dunbar and Patuxent and Perryville, North Hagerstown, Murray, Bridgeport, a lot of these are future opponents and could be playoff opponents, so we're going to toss those in here on our scoreboard from time to time. It is now time for the 2-minute warning.
We have reached the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
We're coming upon the 2-minute warning.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
That was Al Michaels to wrap that up, Tony.
That was.
All right, let's do it.
We got 2 minutes to go.
Nice production. Go.
All right. Fort Hill, 9-point lead with 9 minutes to go. They can't stop. They can't stop Hollidaysburg, and Hollidaysburg ran the ball on them. That's how they took control of that game. Allegheny scores 56 points and still loses. Frankfort looks really bad in the first half and still wins going away. It was a pretty crazy night.
Michael?
Something we probably won't see again for a very long time. A knockdown, drag out, last man standing, good old-fashioned Donnybrook at Greenway last night.
That's what it was, Brad.
I was struck by Coach Dendle's emotion after the game. You could just feel he was almost incapable of expressing how happy he was. It was good to see.
And that's the Albert
Gallatin coach.
Right, yeah. Okay. All right. Adam.
Only one team saw the ball in the first quarter at Northern last night. 20 plays ran, and Frankfort did not have the ball in the first quarter. Never seen that before.
Whoa.
I'd like to introduce a new piece to this theme.
Yes.
If nobody objects. The theme this year is what a weird season, unusual season it is. All you have to do is look at the records and look at some of the scores, and this is something to be able to cover high school football this year.
It was amazing. Fort Hill and Allegheny are combined 3-5 at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How weird is that? So that is unusual. Now, Tony, are you still timing?
You got 30 seconds.
We have 30 seconds.
Yes.
All right.
Forget all that.
Well, how about that? Brad, elaborate on Coach Dindal. When I say elaborate, in 10 seconds.
Elaborate. Rock asked me to interview him, and I went over, and it was almost as if he couldn't stand up. He almost had, he did have tears in his eyes. It was if he climbed Mount Everest.
Beating a Cumberland school.
Beating Allegheny for the first time ever, I believe.
That is correct.
That's right.
That is correct. So, all right. That is our 2-minute warning. Do we have a special gong at the end of this? Or?
I don't think so.
No.
We can add that next week.
Tony and Chris put together that wonderful intro of people saying 2-minute warning. So, outstanding. What a night. And we're going to come back and talk about it. We'll start with, really looks like a basketball score, 63-56.
We said, I was talking to my dad last night. He said, that sounds like a basketball score. At the Frankfurt game, it was a grand slam and a late 2-run double at the end of the first half because it was only 6-0.
Very strange, but a lot of fun. And your calls, as always, are welcome at 301-722-8255. You're listening to Saturday Morning Quarterback on WCBC.
Behind him, and a man comes in motion to the near side, and they give to the back, who's to the 5, and touchdown T. Guzman from about 9 yards out, the senior back into the end zone, and just like that, Albert Gallatin leads Allegheny 6-0 with 11:48 to go in the first quarter.
Hi, this is Nicole King from the Kensington Assisted Living in Cumberland. We offer a comfortable, safe place to call home for those who need a little extra help or want a carefree lifestyle. 301-777-8800.
Adventure awaits, so finance your next recreational vehicle with WEPCO and enjoy the great outdoors today. For details, call 800-292-8139 or visit WEPCOFCU.com. Credit subject to approval. Additional terms and conditions apply. Equal opportunity lender.
Everything we do is true. We do for you.
Parents, what if your high school student could get a jump start on their future and save thousands of dollars in college tuition? At Allegheny College of Maryland, our early college program makes it possible. Students earn real college credit while still in high school, preparing them for career success or a seamless transfer to a 4-year university. It saves time and money. It's smart. It's affordable. It's the early college program at Allegheny College of Maryland. Visit allegheny.edu to learn more today.
At the 8, Jamison looking, throwing out of the backfield. He's got his man, and that is down to what? Touchdown, and I believe it was Roman Smith on the reception, or Pegg. Was it 6 or 8?
It's 6, Rock. Adam
Pegg. Yeah, he's the one that's been running those sweeps. So Gallatin, with 25 seconds remaining the first half, regains the lead at 34-28.
Now back to Saturday Morning Quarterback here on WCBC.
Even after watching the game, I can only shake my head and wonder what we saw last night. So it's Albert Gallatin 63, Allegheny 56. Brock, you had the call of the game, and one of the highlights, Tony and Adam, we couldn't really read the Gallatin numbers very well. So I get on and say, is it gold or green? What was your color?
I think I went with Carolina blue.
It looked silver to me.
And then Brad chimed in with silver. It's like, well, we just did a whole Crayola box. These are 4 adults that can't do a color. All right, Rock, what are your initial thoughts after what we witnessed last night?
Well, let's talk about a kid. That we're going to pronounce it Guessman. We're not positive on that. T. Guessman, 299 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. one player never wins a game, but his performance brought back. Who do I think? I thought of Carson Robinette for Allegheny and Jabril Daniels. He really, literally ran over people. He was a brute, and Allegheny's tackling, I didn't think it was that bad. He was just that strong, and I'm not sure we've seen many performances like that in the stadium ever.
Yeah, and I brought up Alvin Bohr, who had like the most carries ever.
Yeah.
You said you thought that was Fort Hill 65.
65.
What we saw Jabril do in the playoffs last year was similar to Guessman.
Yep.
And then your other one was Carson Robb. That's excellent, too.
Can we also mention Keontae Bible? He was everywhere last night defensively and offensively. He was a tremendous contributor.
You know, one of the things I don't like to do, and we've avoided it really through 4 games, is talk about the 2 Allegheny players who left.
Yes.
One of them, a lineman who could have made a difference last night. The other, a linebacker who could have made a difference.
Absolutely.
So you play with who you have, and we don't hear Coach Hansel belly aching about it. But when you think about how they just ran up the middle and got all those yards, just last night it hit me. It's like, if those 2 guys were there, they couldn't have been.
Both played as freshmen. That's how good they were. Yeah.
All right, but all credit to Albert Gallatin. Brad?
Well, let's go back to the 3 phases of the game. I think Allegheny was good enough on offense.
Yeah.
In terms of their offensive approach and their execution, but the 2 other phases they just lacked. The special teams clearly was a problem, and the defense, they just cannot. They just couldn't get them off the field. On 3rd down, 4th down, couldn't stop them. And I texted Jim last night. I said, did Allegheny just give up 63 points to the flex bone, which is the same type of offense which is run by the military academies? And his answer was, it's time for you to go to bed, or something like that. So it was a shocking problem on defense.
You do think about, I mean, a game like that, you think about it for days at what you saw. Mike Connelley, what are your thoughts?
I was just looking here at as far as points per quarter.
Oh, okay.
The 3rd quarter, there was only 15 points scored. I thought, what the hell happened? They must have went to sleep in their locker room, because you figure 35 points in the 1st quarter, 28 in the 2nd, and then in the 4th we had 42. And only 15 in the 3rd. And you look at the total points, you got 119 for the game.
Rock, as you were doing the game and Allegheny tied it early in the 2nd quarter, did you think Allegheny was going to come back and win?
I had my doubts still because of that kid running the football. And then when we saw them be able, they would suck everybody in and go wide. And sometimes that assignment football, Brad described very well, it just failed. If you lose your assignment going wide, if you step inside, and you're almost giving yourself up. And boy, when they went wide, and then they'd mix in a pass here and there. So Allegheny, I think maybe in some ways played as good offensively as they could. But when was the last time somebody threw for Allegheny threw for 5 touchdowns? Anybody? I mean,
and Guessman ran for 7, and they executed. I would love to see more fake the handoff up the middle, the belly series. Quarterback pulls it out, he runs down the line and pitches it, and these guys ran it. And as Coach Hansel said after the game, Allegheny diagnosed it the one time, but then on a critical 4th down, they didn't make the stop. We got to go back and talk about the beginning of the game, which is incredible. So way back in 1997, Bishop Walsh lost to Kaiser. Kaiser scored 21 points without touching the ball in the 1st quarter.
They did not run one offensive play.
That is correct.
Right.
So last night, it was 21-0 Albert Gallatin, and Allegheny never ran an offensive play. So the first kickoff is just kind of a regular fumble by Allegheny. The second kickoff lands around the 20, and the Allegheny deep man, a different deep man, just watched it lay there.
Complete confusion as to whether or not it was a punt or a kickoff or what was going on.
And Gallatin jumps on him. Then the third kickoff lands near the same player. It bounced backwards a little bit, and Gallatin recovered that one. And again, Gallatin is not intending, we're going to spin this and go backwards. And speaking of kicking, Sebastian Stewart does a good onside kick. But, Brad, is that a fair description of what we saw?
Yeah, I think we talked about this on the air, that the first 2 were mental errors, the fumble and then not recovering it. I think you can give him a little bit of a pass on the third one, which it was a weird bounce. It bounced way back, and the problem was nobody else went for the ball for Allegheny. So you can say it's on the kick returner, but the up men have to make sure the ball's fielded before they start blocking. They can't just turn blindly and move forward. They have an obligation to come back and try to recover that ball too.
And Allegheny did not punt last night, correct, Mike?
That's correct.
Well, I took care of that problem.
Yeah, sure did.
Tony, I was texting you right and left with scores. I sent you about 10 before I got one from you because your game was totally different.
Yes. The two games we did couldn't have been more different. As soon as I got home, I wanted to watch that because of the high scoring. I didn't know it had started the way it had.
Oh, my. Well.
So I had no idea that was coming. I just kept saying out loud, oh my, as I was watching it. So for Allegheny to be even in that game after spotting Gallatin 21 points is really kind of impressive. And for Coach Hansel to be able to keep his guys motivated and in it throughout that, because lots of teams could have said 21 points. It was, I think, 14 points before a full minute had gone off the clock.
That's right.
So that was pretty impressive, but and I also assumed Gallatin was a team that was out there throwing the ball around and lighting it up, but they're running a very, like Brad said, a flex bone offense, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside offense.
And we're going to flex bone will be our term rest of the year, just for fun. We'll just say flex bone. What team am I talking about? Adam, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was speechless, and I know people in the area said Adam Sterne and speechless don't go together, but when he said the score the first time and then continued, I just kept thinking, how is that possible? I had no idea until you just said how the first three scores on kickoffs that aren't fielded by Allegheny. Hats off to them to stay in the game.
Yeah.
We had the game at Northern last night. For Frankfurt's head to stay in the game and not get the ball in the first quarter, we did see a lot of fumbled snaps when they got the ball. But you think high school kids, they check out easy. For Allegheny not to check out easy, 21-0, 3 errors, special teams, like Brad said. It's amazing. Frankfurt did the same thing as Northern. They stayed in the games. Their head stayed in mentally.
Rock, we've seen so many games, but that's what we admire about Coach Hansel is his intensity. He's coaching to the final minute, and his kids responded last night.
Yeah, they really did, and it really helped when they got that first touchdown, and they got it really quickly, and I think that picked up their spirits, obviously. But, again, my theme, a weird season. Allegheny, let's see, the young man blank was, what was he, 7 of 11?
7 of 11 for 163 and 5 scores.
And Noah House of Fort Hill. Now, I know we're not talking about Fort Hill yet. He threw the ball, 17 times?
Yeah.
Now, when was the last time? That's 17 and 11? That's 28 throws between the two
city schools.
Bring back Air Coryell.
Yes, and he threw for 3 touchdowns. So we're into. If this continues, we're into some really weird stuff.
Yeah, and I want to thank Mike Allen and Garrett Eagan for keeping us up to date on that Fort Hill score last night. But wow, it was something else. And now Allegheny goes on the road for a new opponent, and that new opponent will be Murray, replacing St. James. As I was saying before we went on the air, we love going to St. James. Now we're headed into the heart of D.C. next week.
Were the National Guard troops still there? I guess
I have no idea. I don't know much about Murray, but we'll find out. So,
did you find out if they're a charter school or a Catholic school? You were going to do that.
No.
Okay. Well, I know you'll do it before.
That could be Doc and Rock podcast topic.
Maybe.
No.
I think we're going to spend half the time talking about the Pirates, Orioles, and Nationals, but that's another time. I know. All right, you're listening to Saturday Morning Quarterback, and when we come back, we'll talk about those Frankfurt Falcons and staying unbeaten, and your calls are welcome. You're listening to Saturday Morning Quarterback on WCBC.
When the diagnosis is Alzheimer's, the decisions are difficult. Fortunately, there's Country House. Hi, this is Nicole King. Our staff are trained to provide comfort, reassurance, and 24-hour care. 301-777-8717.
Fall has arrived at Ridgetop Orchards in Bedford County. Enjoy crisp apples like Honeycrisp, Gala, and September Wonder, or head to the orchard every weekend from 9 to 3 to pick your own. Bring the family for our $10 corn maze. Kids 3 and under are free. Discover the pumpkin playground and corn pit. Then treat yourself to cider donuts, hand pies, and sparkling cider. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sundays, 11 to 5. Visit Ridgetop Orchards on Valley Road in Fishertown. Ridgetop Orchards, where fall lives.
For a limited time, D&D Motors will give you $2,000 for your car when you purchase one of ours. It doesn't matter how you get it here. Push it, pull it, drop it in by helicopter, haul it on a herd of wild elephants, have Santa bring it on his sleigh. It doesn't matter. We'll give you $2,000 no matter what the condition when you purchase a vehicle from either D&D Motors location. Contact us for more details. D&D Motors, Route 220 Bel Air, Route 36 Georges Creek.
Highlights from last night in high school sports here on WCBC. Now back to Saturday morning quarterback.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Quarterback on WCBC. And we talked about Allegheny. We can talk about that game the rest of the season. That'll be one we come back to in future years. But the Frankfort Falcons, how many in a row, Tony?
19 games in a row going all the way back to last season.
All right, so give us the final score of that game last night and a couple initial thoughts, please.
Final score was 28-7 over Northern. The first thought was Frankfort winning a game going away without looking particularly good. You know, Rock kept talking about it being a wacky season. The word I kept writing down was wonky. It was 6-0. That's a weird score. Frankfort didn't get the ball to start the half. Northern got it. Northern went on a 23-play drive to take up the entire first quarter plus some, but they did not get points. It stalled out. They converted 2 fourth downs, but they stalled out on a 4th down. And the defense. We talk a lot about offense. I think it's just easier. As a play-by-play guy, you follow the ball, so you tend to focus on offense. But the defense is what is keeping Frankfort in these games. The triple option that Northern runs gave them some trouble at the beginning, but they keyed in, and then they just basically stacked everybody up close and dared them to throw. Northern did connect on a couple of passes, but it was once Frankfort figured out how to stop that run, Northern kind of kept going to it a little too much.
I'm happy to report we have a phone call.
All right. Very good. One more time, Tony. 23 plays. It went into the second quarter.
It went just into the second quarter.
And they didn't score.
They didn't score,
huh?
That's correct.
Wow.
Wait, all kinds of... Your weird season comment is right on the money. Good morning. You're on Saturday Morning Quarterback.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Hey, good. What's new?
Not much. Yes, the passing that these two city teams are crazy, like you said, but... A couple years ago, they had a quarterback, Brody Williams, that threw 4 touchdowns in 1 quarter.
Oh, wow.
Well, thanks for that.
Against Southern. And I do believe him and Zach Michael connected for 10 in 1 season, and I think that's a state record for a tight end receiving.
Well, thank you for that.
Appreciate the info.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, I'm glad to see it, that they're getting to that point, and, I hope Allegheny's turning it around for good, or at least for, getting back to the way it used to be. So.
And that is certainly Brian Hansel's fervent hope. I was thinking today we're 20 years since Allegheny's state title where Hansel played. So we're with you, caller. Thanks for the Brody Williams pickup with Zach Michael. We loved watching both of them.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
All right, bye.
Glad to have that help. By the way, a quick step away here.
Yes.
We have a correspondent with this copy and paste, only to please you, Rock, because I really don't care about Murray right now. Murray is a vibrant K-12... We'll scratch the vibrant. Murray is a K-12 independent school in D.C. We ignite our students' potential as they foster their academic, artistic, and athletic talents. And it's just a bunch of...
Is this a paid advertisement for Murray?
So the description of it... Okay.
Independent.
Independent, okay.
All right, so there you go. Thank you,
Who was
correspondent.
That? Garrett?
Somebody from elsewhere. All right, Adam. We don't reveal sources here. Adam, what do you got on this Frankfurt game?
Step up, Adam.
Well, so it's game 5 for Frankfurt, game 1 for Adam Sterne. So a different setting. The first time I go out and I'm on an away setting, Kevin Whiteman, as serious as he is, as punctual he is, Tony says, you've got to be down there at 6:35. He will come to you, and he is over talking to the official. I don't have a headset on because the radio doesn't pick it up there. I mean, I look like, I honestly thought I was going to hurt my neck because I kept going back from Kevin to Tony, trying to figure it out. And what does Kevin do? I try to be the funny guy on the interview. He says, instead of a third question, he said, I just want to ask you something. Isn't that a beautiful scenery in the background of the farmland and the corn stalks? He goes, it's always beautiful up here. It's just funny that Kevin can be an 18-game winning streak pregame and have some sense of humor going into a game that he knows, and he had said it afterwards, that he never plays well at Northern. Never.
You know, and that's why we love Kevin Whiteman. You can talk to him about anything. He'll bring up anything. Heck, he was at Wrigley Field with Greg Brown this year. Took a picture with Wrigley Field in the background.
And he came in the post-game interview, and if that performance had happened last year, I think he'd been a little hot. Like, they really didn't look good. They made a lot of mistakes. They had a bot. They botched the snap 5 times, 3 times on the opening drive, just the quarterback just dropping it on the turf.
Now, do they do under center?
Under center.
Oh, wow.
And nothing, we still couldn't figure out quite what it was, but it's just he's committed to the program and what they're doing. So he comes up in the post-game interview eating a cookie and has a cinnamon roll with him and very, very relaxed. And he said, we didn't yell. We went into the locker room and we just said, we're better than this team. We have to start playing like it. And they talked about making adjustments. But I do think it's a difference between having that state championship and not, and being able to relax.
I think it's a great point.
What's funny about that is he comes up eating the cookie. We laugh at him. He sits down, and Tony's like, you got to get the headset on. He turns to me and says, can you put it on? Like, he looks at me. So I take it off.
His hands are full with desserts.
Yeah. And I move the mic to his mouth. He's still eating the cookie.
Yeah.
Right? He starts the interview, and he's talking with the cookie.
Well, now he knows better than that. Come on, Kevin.
All right. Now, who's next on the agenda?
Next, Mountain Ridge, at home for Frankfurt. It's homecoming for Frankfurt, so they'll be getting ready for that. I think the last year, the Mountain Ridge game to me was significant. It felt like Frankfurt had arrived. They went up there. They went up to Frostburg. Clock ran as they really put them away. So they're going to be eager to get after them. And Mountain Ridge, they've had a couple of impressive wins, but not against impressive teams.
Yes. Mike Connelley, let's do that scoreboard again, please.
Leave the Pirates off of it, please.
Okay, I'll do it. Last night on CBC, Albert Gallatin 63, Allegheny 56. On Classic Hits 107, Frankfurt 28, Northern 7. Hollidaysburg 35, Fort Hill 30. Kaiser 44, Hampshire 16. Mountain Ridge 42, Clear Spring nothing. East Hardy 46, Southern 19, and Petersburg 28, Moorfield 6.
Very good. We'll see how vibrant Murray is next Saturday at 4:30. I don't think that's going to be the adjective I'm going to use when there's probably little in the way of bleachers.
You think it would be a vibrant traffic on your way down?
120 feet of extension cord.
The orange cones are very vibrant.
When are you guys going to leave? I mean, you're in DC.
Right now. We're leaving the show early.
Yes.
So you can head out.
Morning.
I'm going to do the research on the in the hay wagon on the way down.
It's in Brad's second binder.
By the way, Tony, Brad, and I have all heard people in Annapolis say to us, did you guys take a wagon down here?
It's a common thing, people, and they'll also ask you if it was snowing when you left when you're down there in May.
Well,
Charming.
there you
Lovely.
go. Yes. No wonder they have so many problems down there.
Yeah. Spoken by the city council.
I'm not pulling the red wagon.
All right. When we come back, let's see. What should we talk about next?
Oh, boy.
Rock, what do you think's next?
I'm going to guess Big Red. Wow.
There you go.
What almost 8,000 people there last night.
Gee, I hope nobody had that as a number. All right, we'll be back with more Saturday Morning Quarterback in just a moment.
WCBC, Cumberland.
A
water service interruption on Wednesday, October 1st, beginning at 10 p.m. through Thursday, October 2nd, ending at 2 a.m. is planned for the Eckhart and Clariesville district. The outage is necessary to allow for utility staff to perform water valve replacement work. The outage is subject to change based upon weather conditions. Cumberland City Police Department serving a criminal summons to Adam Morgan, 41 years of age, of Cumberland, Maryland. That summons was issued as a result of an incident that occurred on September 16th, just after midnight, when officers responded to a business on Virginia Avenue for theft. Police contacted staff who reported that Adam stole property from the store, and after further investigation, police filed for charges against Adam at the District Court of Allegheny County. That's Newsbreak. I'm Chris Myers for WCBC News, reminding you to remember the time you spend listening to 1270 AM, 103.1 FM, and streaming worldwide at WCBCRadio.com.
Parents, what if your high school student could get a jump start on their future and save thousands of in college tuition? At Allegheny College of Maryland, our early college program makes it possible. Students earn real college credit while still in high school, preparing them for career success or a seamless transfer to a four-year university. It saves time and money. It's smart. It's affordable. It's the early college program at Allegheny College of Maryland. Visit allegheny.edu to learn more today.
Hi, this is Nicole King from the Kensington Assisted Living in Cumberland. We offer a comfortable, safe place to call home for those who need a little extra help or want a carefree lifestyle. 301-777-8800.
This is Saturday Morning Quarterback on 1270 AM, 103.1 FM. Let's check what happened last night in high school sports.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Quarterback. Your calls are welcome at 301-722-8255. Final score, Hollidaysburg 35, Fort Hill 30. And Brad Reed, you were at a 35-33 Fort Hill win years ago at Hollidaysburg. This score is almost identical, but went the wrong way for South End of Cumberland.
You know, it seems kind of the same way game, Jim, where Fort Hill had a lead late. I remember that game years ago where Fort Hill had the lead and they just kind of tired out. And Hollidaysburg just kept coming, and it sounds like that's what happened last night.
And, Tony, you have spoken to sources. What did you get from sources?
Well, Fort Hill was leading to head into the halftime, and then they attempted a 54-yard field goal. There was a penalty, so it moved a little closer. Then that field goal was blocked. Hollidaysburg, it was a scoop and score, and they ran it back. So Fort Hill's still leading at that point, but the lead is cut, and the momentum kind of swings. But they still managed to get a lead going, and they're up by, I think, 9 points with about 9 minutes to go. And it was just a running attack from Hollidaysburg, and Fort Hill couldn't stop it. Because I was communicating with the sources, I said, what happened? And they couldn't stop the run, which is not what you're expecting. You know, Fort Hill loses, you're expecting, well, they had some, the other team had some skill guys, they had some speed, they were throwing the ball, they couldn't handle. It wasn't that. They ran it on them. They ran it on them.
Wow. We're doing source, and it's like we have Deep Throat in a parking garage somewhere in D.C. here, so.
I think he's on his way to Murray.
You know, for Fort Hill, and this is another thing that I mentioned earlier in the year, Rock, where their special teams aren't quite what they used to be. They're not.
They seem more, what's the word I want, hesitant, more not as quick to respond.
And that was fielding punts, but here we go. They get a field goal blocked and run back. A key play late was a shanked punt. Yeah. Now, I know it's their second-string punter.
Yeah, that hurts.
That does not sound like Fort Hill to me because their special teams were always better than everybody else's.
Yeah, without question. And for years and years and years. And they'll rebound. We know they'll rebound. But, Hollidaysburg is really a good football team. And that atmosphere was homecoming up there. I think, guys.
Parade.
And
was a parade.
And they'll turn out for Hollidaysburg even if they're not playing well. So that was a hostile atmosphere for Fort Hill.
And how many fans, Rock?
Close to 8,000. 7,814.
A lead late that they couldn't hold on to, and you talk about like Fort Hill with the special teams. That's not Fort Hill football that we're used to.
Did you say they blocked the field goal and ran it for a touchdown?
Yes.
Right near the end of the half?
Yes.
Oh, whoa.
And, it's interesting for people trying to follow that game. Mike Allen was in the stadium last night. He was watching the Allegheny game with us.
Uh-huh.
And he was watching a video on his phone. But it was a little hard to follow. I would think just listening to good old-fashioned radio might be easier at times. But people are in this habit now watching video as you go. Brad, any other thoughts on
Rock,
this?
I just want to piggyback on what you said. You said, Fort Hill's going to rebound and Fort Hill's going to be all right. How do you know that? You're just basing upon history.
Absolutely.
History, but
I get caught up in that.
Yeah, that history. Last night we saw Fort Hill and Allegheny both put up a tremendous amount of points, but suffer playing defense special teams. Our area.
And Bridgeport put up 77 last night, and that's where the Sentinels go next.
Yeah, that's what I was just pointing at when Brad was talking, is they just have an opponent of Bridgeport that passes maybe twice a game, if that, and they run for 300 yards every game. That's what Fort Hill has to face next.
Yeah, and Fort Hill's running this gauntlet of this challenging schedule.
Yeah.
Now remember, they entered the playoffs last year with a record of 2-7. They still won a state title and had to go on the road. When they play 1A in Maryland, are they going to be seeing necessarily Dunbar, Hollidaysburg, and Bridgeport?
No, I mean, they're set up to still make a deep run in the playoffs, but if they end up on the road in some of these games, you don't know if that's going to be a factor. Last year it wasn't, but just not coming together in the way that you would expect for Fort Hill. If not for the two Garrett County schools, they don't have any wins.
I have to ask Brad. Brad, how good is North Hagerstown? They won over Woodstock 18-7. Fort Hill has them in a couple of weeks.
I think their biggest opponent is going to be Bridgeport.
Yeah.
I think they have to get through them. North Hagerstown's North Hagerstown, so to speak. But this Bridgeport game is going to be a big one.
Bridgeport's still running the single wing, or a variation of that. I'd like to see that myself.
I heard those comments before, but Fort Hill. So I mean, yeah. So hats off to them. They'll probably make the deep run that they will. But did any of these games expose something these teams will know later on?
Well, looking at these scores, Perryville is one of the schools mentioned that could be an obstacle for Fort Hill in the playoffs, and they lost to Edgewood 19-13.
I don't want to be accused of not doing Garrett's job well, so there's a call. So.
All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Saturday Morning Quarterback.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning. Hey.
So I just wanted to put a little insight into that second half at the Fort Hill Hollidaysburg game.
Please.
Fort Hill had two possession leads in the second half. They completely went away from the wing T. They were spread formation, shotgun 95% of the time in that second half. That game never should have turned out the way it did if they would have just went back to traditional ground and pound wing T formation and just let Younger continue to run over people.
I did not look at Braylon's stats. Rock, did you?
He went over 100 yards, I believe.
So, caller, you're saying that maybe if they'd have stuck to the old running game with the lead, that would have helped matters?
100%. They were 4 wide most of the second half, and they relied on Noah House, who's a hell of a quarterback, by the way. He had some great throws last night, but you were up by double digits, and you had a chance to stick a dagger in Hollidaysburg multiple times, and they didn't.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, Jim, and he had 18. Younger had 18 carries for 123 yards in that game.
And we know he's the kind of kid that can seal a game. What the caller's saying.
So he's averaging, that's over 6 a carry.
Yeah.
Caller, how was the atmosphere up there at Hollidaysburg?
I didn't go to the game, unfortunately, but from everything I watched on their broadcast, it was amazing. Both sides of the stands were full. Cheerleaders, band, everything was into it. I love going to Hollidaysburg, but I just wasn't able to this time.
Well, we appreciate your insights, and now Bridgeport is next. So,
another caller.
Another caller.
Thank you, caller.
Good morning. You're on Saturday Morning Quarterback.
Good morning, fellas. Your previous caller, I think they went away from the wing T in the second half because I believe they made an effort they couldn't block those big guys up front. Those guys were like playing a college defensive line. And they did run the ball, but it wasn't consistent.
Okay.
And they just didn't feel that they could. They found that they could throw the ball. I mean, Fort Hill threw for 3 touchdown passes last night. And your talk about the special teams, I think a lot of it is, if you notice, Fort Hill does not use a lot of starters on their special teams. Zach likes to get other guys in the game, and it may be, you're using guys that maybe don't have as much talent and the special teams play just isn't what it has been in the past.
Well, that's certainly a fair point. How about Hollidaysburg running on Fort Hill? What are your thoughts about that in the fourth quarter?
That was amazing. Fort Hill had just scored, and they were up 30-21. They kicked off, and 2 running plays, and Hollidaysburg's in the end zone. And then they couldn't muster an offense, and because Jacob Bone had gotten hurt on a roughing the punter penalty, they had to use the other kicker, and he shanked it. And then they were on a 3rd down, and they rolled the quarterback to his right and threw the ball back to his left, and the closest guy to him was the man holding the sticks. So, you know, they completely fooled the Fort Hill defense.
Yeah, Hollidaysburg, they do that kind of thing. Well, we have another caller. Please call us next week after you go to Bridgeport.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Saturday Morning Quarterback.
Yeah, I just want to echo about the first caller about Fort Hill not running the wing T. I was just wondering, what identity is Zach trying to promote with this team? 89 years, ground and pound, punch in the mouth, help you up, do it again. Now we're going 4 wide. I don't understand what identity Zach is trying to achieve with this.
Well, I know they did that in the preseason. I'll tell you what, they're not winning that state title last year without Jabril Daniels running over people at Cambridge and at Perryville. That was...
Without question. Yep.
And that's why when we're down there at Cambridge, Rock and I can't see anything. Well, it looks like he's turning around getting to the fullback, so we just say Jabril Daniels. So, caller, I get your point.
I think the caller is...
I think he just wanted to make the point.
I think that was it.
Which is fine. We appreciate it.
He'll take his answer off air.
Brad, you were nodding your...
He's chafing at the bit to jump in here.
Exactly. So you watch them at the quad, and they're running 4 wide, and then the sources say that in a preseason game, they were back to the wing T. And then Garrett asked Coach Alcar at the beginning of the season, you're doing all these different things, and Coach Alcar said, we are a wing T run first team. And I don't know whether he's just joking or what, but that's what he said, and I don't see that identity coming out through the season.
All right, we have another caller. Good morning. You're on Saturday Morning Quarterback.
Good morning, guys.
Hello, how are you?
Great. I was wondering, by comparison, whether you guys knew the gate at Greenway.
Last night?
Yeah.
Good. Well, pretty good Allegheny crowd. Gallatin didn't seem to bring a lot of people until the cheerleaders and band arrived. That made a huge difference.
Well, you missed those Fort Hill fans.
Yeah. 2,000 max, probably less than that would be my guess. I'm terrible at estimating crowds, but I know what Hollidaysburg does. I was there for an Altoona game, so Fort Hill brought their normal horde last night. That place was packed, and I would buy that 7,000, 8,000 attendance figure.
I think Mike Connelley had the number at 1956 was the total enrollment that came into there. So I think
at Greenway.
Yes, yeah. He was that
You counted them too?
Yes, I did, but I was off.
What other thoughts do you have, caller?
That's it. It was a great game. Amazing.
Yeah, they were both amazing, and we just need our favorite teams to win them, but they were still great, and it's a lot more fun than beating the stuffing out of some local yokel.
Yep. So, good for the schools.
Exactly. Thanks for calling.
Yep. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
All right.
If Fort Hill could start in a way that's a little middling, that's good for the show. It really brings in the callers. We're getting a lot of calls today.
Yeah, I know what we're saying about their identity and all that.
Getting a lot of calls, that fits with my theme of what a weird season it is. We're having a lot of calls.
All right, we're going to take our final break on Saturday Morning Quarterback. Stay tuned. You're listening to WCBC.
Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage.
Prescription drug plans.
With Medicare comes many options. We at Frankenberry Insurance Group believe in making Medicare simple.
Medicare made simple. Call us at 240-920-3470.
When the diagnosis is Alzheimer's, the decisions are difficult. Fortunately, there's Country House. Hi, this is Nicole King. Our staff are trained to provide comfort, reassurance, and 24-hour care. 301-777-8717.
Riverside Sports has you covered from head to toe for spring sports, including softball, baseball, track, little league, and tennis. They carry hats, socks, pants, and uniforms, and offer team discounts too. They also have the largest selection of balls and bats in the area, in stock and ready to go. Riverside Sports has everything your team needs from the dirt up, even in the field maintenance supplies and field signs. Why go anywhere else when you can get it all at Riverside Sports, 940 Kelly Road, where your team identity comes to life.
Remaining cloudy on your Saturday with scattered rain showers. 70% chance of rain today, high near 71 with cloudy skies tonight. Slight chance of a passing rain shower, low near 58 degrees. Sunshine on Sunday as you make your way to the Cumberland Airport for the Young Eagles breakfast. High's going to be around 85 degrees with a few afternoon clouds. Clear skies overnight, low near 58. Partly cloudy skies on Monday as you head back to work or school. Coming overcast by the afternoon, high near 84 degrees with cloudy skies overnight and a low near 60.
Now, back to Saturday morning quarterback here on WCBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Quarterback. Thank you for the calls. We'll take more. Right now, it is our number of the night. Mike Connelley, take it.
Two of them, 499, the rushing yards for Gallatin last night, and 1238, the time of possession for Allegheny. And they 50 points in a little more than a quarter of play. That's amazing.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Brad?
My number's 93, and that's the amount of points that were scored by the two local teams, Fort Hill and Allegheny, and they both lost.
That's a good one. Adam?
3, 7, and B are my numbers. So you're like this. 3 was the number of fumbles dropped by the quarterback by Frankfurt, yet they scored 7 points on the same drive of dropping the ball 3 different times. B is I was informed last night that we were the B team yesterday, and Brad was sent to the A team. So that's my third number is B.
Well done. Your debut numbers, excellent job. Boy, that came right out of the Frankfurt. Your leadership, Brad and Adam are doing this zaniness. All right, Rock?
Well, I'd have to go with those touchdown passes. Blank for Allegheny through, how many, Mike? 5?
5 touchdowns, yes.
And for Fort Hills House through 3. That's I'll go with 5 or 8, but 8 touchdown passes between them, Allegheny and Fort Hill. It jumped out at me.
Yeah, they had all those passing touchdowns, still lost. They need to go back to running. Yeah. There you go. How's that?
That's what we do around here.
Tony?
All right, my numbers are 4, 5, 6. 4 touchdowns scored by Frankfurt, 5 botched snaps that ended up on the turf, 6 total fumbles, but they only lost 1. And at the end of the first half, it was only 6-0 Frankfurt, and very, very strange.
All right, excellent. I'm going to go with this. Albert Gallatin scored 3 touchdowns in 7 plays in the first quarter. In the second half, they scored 3 touchdowns in 19 minutes and 24 seconds, going for 236 yards. The average drive was 79 yards. So they could do it quickly. They could do it. It's just an amazing game. All right, booth review. Rock, you get booth review first.
I'm going to switch gears here a little bit and just mention Mountain Ridge bouncing back. They played such a gritty game in that loss to Allegheny. I was kind of happy to see that they kind of smoked Clear Spring last night. And the only other thing I'd say, how unusual the season is, in the Fort Hills 2 losses, someone may have mentioned this, they gave up 65 points. And, again, how unusual this season is turning out to be.
Really is. Adam?
I'll stay with football, but we probably could have gone soccer with me being here today on a booth review on a reversal of a red card to a yellow. I'm going to say on a kickoff, illegal touched, there was confusion on the field. There was confusion in the booth. I would have thought that is a flag and no flag thrown, and all of a sudden Frankfurt's lining up. They thought it was a re-kick. Next thing you know, they're lining up for the snap. I thought there should have been a flag when the ball doesn't go 10 yards. Confusing to me, but again, I don't know all the rules of football.
Interesting. You were great with on the rules of our soccer game. It was fun.
He did tell me that.
All right, Brad.
Second week in a row, I'm going to give myself a booth review. I'm guilty of the same thing Rock is, which is it's Fort Hill, it's Allegheny. These are big games. They beat these teams. Heck, I'm picking them both. I picked Allegheny and I picked Fort Hill. I'm the only person that did that because I thought, based upon history, these are two teams. They dominate, and they get their season turned around.
And Gallatin was 0-5 against Allegheny, and Fort Hill had a great winning streak against Hollidaysburg. So those two Pennsylvania teams switched it last night. Michael, your booth review.
Gallatin's ground game, they punch you in the mouth, 58 carries, 499 yards. Wow. Jessman, 30 carries, 296, 7 touchdowns. 499 yards rushing by a team is unbelievable. And then Allegheny's passing attack, 7-11, 163, 5 touchdowns. You just can't make this up or write a script. It was just unbelievable.
58 rushing attempts. Wow. Tony.
A couple of things. First of all, Adam's take on the red card, that Saturday morning keeper. That's next. That's after the show.
He might as well be speaking.
Oh, yeah, I worked in your goofy clean sheet phrase last night. I got stares from my football buddies. Soccer people, clean sheet's annoying. Get it out. All right, let's move on.
Hampshire, I really thought that they were going to have a great season, and they may have played themselves out of the playoffs last night in their loss to Kaiser at home. I was very surprised by that. But we had a caller talk about why did Fort Hill go away from the wing tee. They lost by a touchdown. They threw 3 touchdown passes. If they had thrown 4 touchdown passes, I don't think we get that call. I think people are fine with it because it works out. If that blocked field goal isn't run back for a touchdown, I don't think we get that call. I think, yes, you want to run the ball and you have your identity, but to refuse to evolve is not the mark of a program moving forward.
All right. Thank you. All right. Hampshire is the Cincinnati Bengals or L.A. Chargers of high school football.
Never pick them.
Don't believe. You can't believe.
Don't count on them.
You can't believe.
Don't count on them. All right. My booth review will be this. Alex and Kyle, in their stories in the paper, they both made boxing references in the first 2 paragraphs. Allegheny didn't hear a bell when they were supposed to be knocked out. That's a boxing reference. And then the Fort Hill article, Fort Hill had Hollidaysburg on the ropes. So it's just interesting that we have 2 boxing references. And they're still, and those are younger guys. We grew up with boxing more, so just kind of fun.
Hats off to them to even get these articles in the paper.
Oh, they do a great job. Yeah. All right. We want to conclude our show today with memories of Junior Eversole. Junior was a longtime official of baseball, basketball, and football. Brad, do you have any memories of Junior Eversole?
I do, because I have memories from him on Friday night, on a Saturday morning, and when I was in middle school, I guess Sunday afternoon. So yeah. He reffed me as a kid. And I remember Friday night seeing him and thinking it's a big game, it's a big night. It's just like the steps to me. He was there on big days. So he reffed me all the way through. It was interesting.
Wonderful. Mike?
Okay, I got 3 aspects here. Number 1, Junior being a football official. Whenever we used to get the officials for our games we did on the radio, I'd call him, Michael, your white cap's going to be blah, blah, blah. Your umpire, yeah. He was very well organized. It was a great help for us. In basketball, I had someone ask him one time, Junior, did you ever get riled by the fans in the stands? He says, half the people don't know if the ball's stuffed or has air in it. And finally, when he was an umpire, I asked him, I said, what was your experience like behind the plate, umpiring a game? He said, when Aaron Laffey pitched for Allegheny, he said that baseball looked like an aspirin coming to home plate.
Wow.
And then I also want to add, talking to Kenny Johnson last night, he's in East West Virginia today doing a college game, but he wanted us to pass on his sentiments. He says he respected Junior a whole heck of a lot, and he was definitely Kenny's mentor.
And if Kenny's doing a game, it's a big game, just like when Junior had a game. Very good. Tony?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I don't have a lot of personal memories of Junior Ebersol, but when you asked me to think about it, I thought Kenny Johnson's a name, I think. When I see him, I'm like, oh, we got the big crew at the game. When he's there, you know things are going to be well done. But I think what you see in all of those guys is a spirit of community and volunteerism, and that's what you need for officiating. We know, we talk about it all the time. You need more officials, and to be able just to do that, you know, there's a book called Bowling Alone. You and I have talked about that a lot. People don't do that, but this is something you can do in your community. It helps young people, and it's crucial. We don't, like, everyone wants to be a coach. Everyone wants to be on the sideline on a coach, but you need officials, and that's a great way to contribute to your community.
To follow up on that, Blake Powell, ex-Allegheny football and soccer player, reffed the soccer game we had the other day. That's what we need.
Excellent.
It's people like that.
Exactly.
Rock, Junior Ebersol.
Love Junior. I think we lost one of the giants in our community. When I was a field reporter, I looked so forward to talking to Junior. Always a smile on his face, and easily one of the premier officials, 3 sports. And when I'd be on the sidelines, I could ask him anything, and he would give me insights into what the call Adam was talking about, missed call earlier. What a guy. I just played at Allegheny, played in Turkey Day games, and that's just really, really sad.
Yeah, Kathleen and I taught his daughter Megan, and Junior would be up there picking up, Megan, just like Jack Gilmore would come up and pick up Rory. It's just great seeing those guys. And, a real charismatic person, Junior Ebersol. Adam?
2 things. With Junior, I just showed Brad. It's funny, we talked about Kenny Johnson. I tried to call him at 8:21 this morning on the way in just to get his comment about Junior. That is a passing of the torch. Junior Ebersol to Kenny Johnson. I think we all know that here. The second thing is the sports shop talk, desk talk. So when we were down on Baltimore Street, Junior used to come in, and one of the things is he knew that I was a new soccer official at age 18, coming in to a sport, and he said, Adam, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. I know nothing about soccer, but I am going to tell you, you referee colors. You don't referee schools or anything else. And I have always known to do that when I walk out. Maybe not everybody thinks that, but you have to referee the color.
Man of integrity.
Yeah, what a great personality. When he would ref, he was still reffing when I was athletic director, and easy to deal with. And I got a couple different notes from him that he signed Yours in Sports. So he just got how important his job was and what his role was. And he was fun. We used to have a recording of this. He did a coin toss that was just epic, his instructions. And we don't get that anymore. And he was fun. And Mike, as a basketball official, Junior liked the attention. He would liven up those travel calls. He was very dramatic.
Yes, he was. In fact, now I'm talking about community, too. We had a tournament a golf tournament in memory of my brother for the Cancer Society. Rock, you helped a lot all those years. And what Junior would do behind the scenes, he would go to the businesses and get whole sponsors for us. And I made him and Joe Wolf, another great former referee. And, he was just, like you said, an overall round good guy.
Mike, we're losing too many of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a sign of the times.
And Rock, you and I talked about it a little bit during our last week's podcast. And referees and people had fun nicknames in the old days. Junior,
Grimes,
Joker Boyle. If anybody else has a nickname,
Baldy Powell.
Yeah.
And those guys were characters, and it was fun.
They brought something extra to anything they were officiating.
Yeah, and it was a different society. Junior graduated from Allegheny in the early 50s, so he'd have been our parents' age. But wow, we just saying about Junior brings a smile to our faces, and
that's key.
It is.
When you think about him, you get a smile.
Yeah. So thanks to all the officials out there. And we have about a minute left. So any final thoughts? So we have, Fort Hill at Bridgeport.
I have a prediction for that game.
Okay.
Lots of red. The stadium will be dominated in red.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You said you had a minute. There you go. I'm helping you out.
We're going to play the 2-minute warning with Al Michaels again.
I'll just share. I don't know how many of you have seen it. I'll go quickly to the WPIAL. There are at least 2 teams that are notifying teams on their schedule in the future. Please take it easy on us.
One of them's Baldwin in Pittsburgh.
Yes, and there's another one. I forget the name of it. And the athletic directors are saying, please play your JVs. We aren't any good.
Yep, my daughter told me about that last night. Yeah. Read in the Pittsburgh paper.
So we are into a different era.
Well, we are. Yeah, yes, we are. So, all right, and Frankfurt at hosting
Mountain Ridge, homecoming for Frankfurt. Coach and athletic director over the moon about it. No, they're actually. It seems to annoy them. I told Jay Hesse he seemed like a guy talking about Christmas. Like as a parent, you know it's supposed to be fun for other people, but it's a lot of work for you.
That it is. And go ahead, Ron.
1 minute, according to our producer.
Well, we're going to listen. And I went too long last week, so I won't do that again. Many thanks to everybody that called and shared your thoughts. We love doing this show. I think you can tell that. For Tony Orndoff, Mike Connelley, Brad Reed, Adam Sterne, great debut. Rock Cioni,
thank you.
And our engineer, Chris Myers. This is Jim Zamagias for WCBC Radio Sports.
This has been Saturday Morning Quarterback on WCBC and by the Kensington Assisted Living on Baltimore Street in downtown Cumberland and the Country House, specializing in Alzheimer's and respite care, located on Cumberland Street in downtown Cumberland. Saturday Morning Quarterback is a production of WCBC Radio Sports. All rights reserved. WCBC. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
We love your radio station.
America's great radio stations, proudly serving the community since 1976. 1270 AM. WCBC Cumberland.
Also on the web at WCBCRadio.com. 10 a.m. New cars, used cars, all available at Timbrook Kia Motor City. Stop in today.
From ABC.